Hey, welcome back. Very excited for this. A friend was fast enough to land one of the recent Brown Mini FSD-I's on that drop and was kind enough to make it available to me. So let's see what we think. So this is prototype number 2, and I had a Instagram chat with Craig, and he let me know that basically prototype 2 and above are all pretty much the same. I think that's what he said. I don't want to exactly quote him on it, but I'm pretty sure he said these were all the same. That prototype 1, which is this guy, was a one-off. You can see this is like pattern 1. The flipper tab, there's no hole in the fuller. This is kind of a one-off. This guy's pretty much going to be the same as number 001 and above. So like I think prototype 2, let's see if we can find that here. I think it's here now. Prototype 2, 3, 4, and number 1. I think we're all sold on this recent drop. Oh, so good. Holy smokes, nice little ting on this one. Prototype 1 does not have that ting. I don't know if that's resonance coming from the fuller hole or just the scales are a little different now, but that sounds amazing. Yeah, this one's much more of a click versus prototype 2 is like a ting. So I don't know if he milled them out differently inside or what. Most of it looks similar. Gotta love this new USA made here. But yeah, that sounded damn good. Sweet. Love this new pattern. He just does such a cool alignment with his pocket clip. I mean, look at that line right there. That's freaking cool. Similar here. That ain't easy. Sorry, I just need to take a moment to bask in this knife a little bit. So, quick notice difference there. I was a little critical of this in the unboxing, but now that I'm looking at what he did, I think this is actually probably good to go on this updated version. And you can see this is higher up here. So I was saying this wasn't super good, but this one, oh yeah, that's quite a bit easier. And you can basically just use it the same way you did on the old one. So yeah, I think he kind of nailed it. Now you may not love this nub thing. Certainly not for everyone, but overall, oof, fantastic. And a nice ting. Wow, that sounds great. This one's actually like a little more drop sheddy. I don't know. I've been playing with that one quite a bit. Maybe I'm off on that. Yeah, no, this one can sometimes get kind of stuck there, but it's pretty damn drop shed once you make it past that like 90-degree angle. But that's quite a bit better. Of course I say that and then miss it. I just don't really love the tab being right here on the top. I'm just not a fan of that because when you're here, you're actually in a pretty natural position to like continue to hold the knife after. For some reason when you're here, it just feels like I'm gonna flip the knife out of my hand. I don't know what it is. So I'm not a big fan of that, but the good thing is this is actually, see, I'm not seeing that wrong. I need something to, yeah. This thing actually gets like a little extra, a couple extra millimeters there. And that actually that makes it good enough to front flip pretty damn easily. So that's good. You can still front flip that in the way you could do it with the old one. And if you prefer it, you can use the nub thingy. Either way, I'd say like, I'd really just like a little more traction on this jimping. But that's pretty damn good as it is. So I think the average front flipping fool like myself, which I didn't used to be, but I've gotten used to it over time, will feel like that's no problem. So that's nice. Yeah, these more production versions definitely take a step in the right direction from this kind of one-off Proto #1. You can really see he put a little more emphasis on the front flipper there. I think he really knocked it out of the park. I'm kind of curious why he did this fuller thing here. Not sure. I guess that does give you a little extra traction in there. You get a little extra traction out of that, I think. Just kind of curious if you benefit from it all on the thumb side. I don't know at first look. Not really. Pretty much the same. I still have to kind of do a little bit of a sideways flick instead of, I typically would want to be able to really flip forward when I'm doing the fuller. But with these fullers, you really kind of have to flip it to the side, which I'm not a big fan of that. That is opposed to one of the fullers where you can actually like load up a little bit into this fuller, and then it'll let you kind of push it forward instead of pushing it to the side so much. Actually, this may not be a great example. There it is. But the, you know, one that I really like is the fuller on the SPK Lumia, sorry. You can see this sort of has this ability to really push into it. It's got a strong, nice strong detent, and then the knife just pops out of there when you're pushing forward. You don't have to like flip it to the side to get it out. You can just flip it forward, and that's really nice to me. So that'd be a cool alternative. Like, I actually really like this fuller. I think a lot of people would prefer this, candidly. It just looks cool. It's well designed. There's a lot to love about this, for sure. That jimping the same? Yeah. Pretty much the same there. Lockup is great. However, some people might want that as an alternative, right? To have a little fuller hole that sort of stops right here. And then when you flip, you're gonna get a nice forward motion out of it. Now, if I really push down hard, I can kind of emulate that a little bit, but it's not ideal. So nice. Well, I appreciate it to the guy that was able to snag this. Good friend, not just of the channel, but just in general. Good knife buddy. And that is definitely a beauty. So it's cool to see these side by side and just see what their similarities and differences are from Prototype 1 to Prototype 2. And glad to be able to share that with you on the channel here. So hope that was helpful. I guess I'd be remiss if I didn't also put the, I guess you call this the Mini FSD Gen 1 now on here, at least for a minute, and kind of put all three of them side by side. One of the things I didn't mention two things on the first video. One is you can see he, and he mentioned this in his Instagram video about the knives, but he gave a little relief here so you can get to the lock, which is awesome. Like, it drives me crazy when relief isn't added to get to the lock. That's like, I talk about it a lot on the channel, but my only criticism about the We Knives banter is you have to like put your finger into some super weird position to get to it. And same thing on the tactile rock wall. Anytime that you don't give yourself some nice relief there to get to that lock bar, it's just like, why would you not do that, right? Just throw this up real quick. Proto number 002. This one, CPM 154, also just like Proto 1 was. What was the other thing? So you now have a fuller tab here. This is kind of like in between the two. There's this new, I guess you'll call it pattern 4, right? Because he now has 4 patterns. He has the pattern 1, pattern 2, pattern 3 is like the Nutter Butter style one, and this would be pattern 4, and then he also has the nude tie version, which I think I actually have one here. Might as well bring that out. I don't think I have a pattern 3 anymore, but I don't have this here. I thought I had it right next to me, but I don't. Yeah, other things. He adds the fuller, obviously goes to a inset liner lock. I don't know if you call it inset liner lock. Maybe you'd call it like a sub liner, because it kind of goes into the liner here. I think you'd call that a sub, I don't know. I guess it's just a liner lock. The milling that used to be under the scales, or under the pocket clip here, made in Blaine, or maybe it said Blaine WA USA. That's no longer there, so due to the design of the liner, he now has to have screws in there to hold the liner lock in place. So now it just says USA made inside here, which is great, all good, doesn't really matter. What used to be the number here, since this is kind of gone, I love that he chose to make this more seamless, which is just a really, I mean, he didn't have to do that. It would have been much easier for him to do this here, right? But he chose to move that to the liner. So now the numbering's on the liner, which I think is really subtle and cool. And I think that was a really neat decision, honestly. Like, just further exemplifies what makes Craig Brown and his knives really neat. What else did we see? I think that's about it. Most of the rest is pretty similar. Be interested to see, I think he said he's coming out with a few more patterns also, so it'd be cool to see if he does something really unique with these new ones. But I love that he's really been doing this like dark wash finish. I really think it takes his knives to the next level, and they look really cool with it. So I have that on all 3 of these, I believe, that are sitting here. But I think that's kind of a new advancement that he put onto his knives that really upgrades them to the next level. So anything else? Oh yeah, obviously did the you know, the new lock mechanism, or not lock, front flipper. Sorry, I'm tired today. Didn't get a lot of sleep last night. And different jimping here than on the original button lock. So you can see that difference in jimping there. So this is what I actually would really love to check out also, is this new version. So that's almost as tall as the original version. That's like within 1 millimeter of the original version, which is cool. Whereas this one that I got was actually quite a bit shorter. Gotta line these up right. Quite a bit shorter than the original version. So that threw me off a little bit, that right over here was down a little lower. To me, you just get rid of this and just go back to that model. I think that's fine. I don't think he needs this nub, candidly. Especially since it doesn't have like super tacky jimping on it. I don't really see a ton of benefit of that. I'd rather front flip it from here and just have this be, if this is like that long, that'd be really cool. And then just kind of comes back in, kind of like a less exaggerated version of the Dawn. I like that more, personally. And the one I like the most, this is from a front flipper perspective, is gonna be the Sham. It's pretty similar, but like a lot grippier, making it a lot easier here because it's grippier. So that grippiness really lets me throw my finger over it. Whereas with this one, if I just try and throw my finger over it, I might slip off. So I really have to like push through the material, which makes it feel like I have to put a lot more pressure on it and might knock the knife out of my hand. Oh, let me also just check the weight, because the other one was a little heavier. I'd be curious to see if that's the same. So if you missed the first video and you're just tuning in now on this This was 4.15 ounces-ish. Now it's calling in at 4.2. Let me just zero it out real quick. Double check. Okay, 4.2 ounces. This guy was a little heavier. 4.25 ounces. And here's the new production version, so it's back to 4.2. I'm sure there's some level of variance or whatever. Oh, look at that, even a little touch lighter. And you know, with that fuller cutout there, that could definitely be, that alone could be the reason. So you might have actually ended up with a slightly lighter knife on this one, like fractional, but hey, something. Cool. Well, thanks again for making this happen, amigo. Hope everyone enjoyed that one. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.